their legs shaking and going crazy. Don't let that stack touch, come on. Right there, yep. It's a little bit suggestive. Got it! It's to make sure that my quads are growing. What's up, guys? We are here at Megaflex for the quad-focused leg day. Very excited to take you guys through this session because it's not something that you've seen on YouTube yet. Here with Zach, and we are going to be running through the whole thing. Probably going to run the Cybex hack because that's something that we haven't done in a while. We got the Cybex squat pivot on the dock for today too. So a very exciting session. Let's get into it. Adductors genuinely are probably one of the most neglected body parts for guys in their first couple of years of training. If you've ever seen somebody try to jump on one of these machines, they'll put like 30 pounds on there to start and see their legs shaking and going crazy. It's because it's a muscle group that they haven't trained before. So this is something that I hit first. Not only does it prime me up and get me ready for these bigger squat pattern movements like the hack and the leg press, but also I'm gonna go into it with the mentality of like, I'm trying to grow this muscle group because I need to have tissue that is covering the space between my two legs when I'm standing on stage. So as a result, these need to get bigger. So that doesn't mean I'm just going into it and just trying to warm it up and get it ready for these other movements. This is a working set here. So that means that I'm progressively overloading this the same way I would anything else. This is not some type of different movement that I'm sandbagging myself on and not taking it all the way there like I would everything else. This is working sets just like everything. Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't need all that.
I haven't used them yet because I don't think they fit me right now.
Yeah.
But I literally just caught like the stomach flu a few weeks ago.
Me too.
So I got 7 pounds up from like 168 and then I lost it all again. 2 months of progress.
I was like deathly sick, not this past Sunday, but the one before that.
Oh, really?
It was just like I had my first meal and then I had to go like home from church. It was like I was laying on the ground. I was laying on the couch for like hours. It was back and forth between the couch and the toilet. I was like, dude.
No, I feel that. That's like how I was. I couldn't. It was only throwing up. Nothing else. Or actually.
I didn't throw up, thankfully.
Oh,
it was all the other end. Yeah, we keep those things on deck at the house. We're always ready with those. Honestly, I'll take electrolytes like every single day, just, you know, whether I feel good or not. Just keep everything up. But I'll hit it twice as hard when I'm sick. So I was sick Sunday, and then it like came back on Thursday, and I think what it actually was like minor, I don't know if it was food poisoning, but every time that we were eating from this batch of eggs, we were like getting sick, and it's like they didn't look at it like there was anything wrong with them or anything. So we both had them yesterday, and then we started feeling gross again. So I was like, all right, let me throw these stupid things away, and we just skipped them this morning, and both of us have had no problem. So I think it was a bad set of eggs, but I got new ones. I got PTSD now, and I'm kind of afraid.
I don't like eggs either. I got PTSD from eggs for different reasons.
Yes, yes. Fight. Go again. Finish, finish. I'm not gonna lie, we have an awesome environment at Crush It, but there are definitely days where I miss coming here. I miss some of this old school equipment. One of the pieces that I miss most is this old school Life Fitness seated leg curl. If I'm gonna pick between seated or lying for a leg curl, and I can only pick one, I like to do seated. I genuinely operate switching between both of them, but if I had to pick one, I'd go seated. Main reason being, you can just be a lot more stable with something like this versus if you're lying down. You're fighting the propensity for your hips to want to jump up every single rep, especially as your hamstrings start to get tired as the set wears on. So with this, you're fighting the same urge, but it's in a different fashion. So when you're bracing yourself up against the pad like this, you're gonna want to, at the very top of the rep, to jump your hips up. It's a little bit suggestive. Jump your hips up like that, and use some of that momentum to get you out of this most stretched position here, which is where it's actually the heaviest. Fight that. Try to get it entirely with your hamstrings from the start all the way into the short, and keep it there for as long as you possibly can. That's why you see me attacking this so methodically, where I'm taking 3-4 seconds on every single rep. It's so that I don't get it into that, because I've done that before where I just load it very heavy. It goes to my hips, it gets into my lower back. It's not fun. Just keep the weight lower, keep it on your hamstrings. Good. Great control. Yes. Don't let that stack touch. Come on. Right there. Yep. Good. Stay in it. Yes. Brace up against it. Come on now. Good. Keep it on your hamstring. Let's go. Yes. Fight. Go one. Go. Yep. Good set. Okay. March! March! Go! No one! Okay. Oh, okay. All right, we have reached the part of the session that many would call the main event. And this is something that's always gonna have a special place in my heart because I ran this every single week for 2 years, something like that, whenever I was training here. And there's nothing really special about the Cybex. I know that it's the king of hack squat in a lot of people's eyes. Other people say it's overrated. It's actually just really stupid freaking heavy. That's the main thing. It's got like a 45-degree incline or something like that, where most hacks have like a 30 or a 35. So it's a lot sharper, which means not only is it super heavy in the bottom, but trying to push it through the mid-range, if I can speak, mid-range is actually super difficult. So you'll see a lot of people take the bands and use that to take all of the weight out of the hard part. We're not gonna do that today. Probably gonna go up to 5 and see what that can move for. Again, this is something that I haven't done in probably almost a year, something like that. So we're gonna see what that moves for. We'll hit 2 sets on this, and then we're gonna go over to the pivot press.
Let's go, come on. 5! One more. Go!
So all things considered, I am pretty happy with the 2 sets we were able to do on the hack, with the 5 plates of the top set, able to get 6 and almost 7 reps. And then you saw me back down to 4 plates aside, where then I'm taking smaller pauses at the bottom, really trying to make sure that I'm emphasizing that it's on my quads throughout the entire movement. So now we're moving over to the pivot press here, and this is gonna be the last big heavy movement of the day. So you notice that a lot of the isolation stuff comes beforehand, so that not only are my joints, like my ankles and my knees, my hips, everything's all super warm because I've already taken a few sets on my quads, I've already done a few sets on my hamstrings, everything's ready to go. But then also too, I'm pre-exhausting everything, so I don't have to load the hack up quite as heavy. it's not as much demand on my central nervous system to put maybe 4 or 5 plates on instead of maybe going to 5 1/4 or 6 and just trying to hit that like as heavy as possible, because that's also not the priority. It's just to put weight on there and try to move as much as I possibly can. It's to make sure that my quads are growing. And if my quads are growing, that means I'm putting the most stimulus on them as possible, which means that those eccentrics are looking 2-3 seconds long. I'm making sure that I'm coming up with my quads and I'm not just popping up on my hips. I'm not getting into my lower back. There's a whole assortment of things that I'm considering while I'm doing this. So now we're gonna take some of those same cues into the leg press here, do 1 set, and then we're gonna move over to some single leg work. And that's gonna be pretty much it. One of my favorite things to say is that you can't say you're training to failure if you never fail. And we witnessed that firsthand there just a second ago when you guys saw me get buried trying to take a rep at the end of the leg press set that was not there. Now the benefit of doing it on something like that is that even if I don't have a spotter, I can take that all the way there, and if that rep's not there, it's not the end of the world because I'm familiar with that machine. I know I can bottom that all the way out and it's not gonna ever be a problem for me to where I'm actually gonna be putting into a spot where I'm like, you know, in pain or at risk of breaking something. You do that on like a barbell squat or something like that, there's gonna be a higher chance of that going south versus doing it something on like a leg press, especially one that you're familiar with, where not really as much of a risk. So when you kind of see me contemplating on that last rep, like, should I go for this? And then you go, why not? The more times that you're gonna do that, the more times you're gonna hit those reps because you're gonna be used to going all the way to failure. So even if you miss it, you know, every once in a while, at least you're gonna be pushing yourself all the way there and you know that you emptied the tank at the end of the day rather than wondering if there might have been one more rep there. All right, guys, that's all for today's video at Megaflex. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.